Hey everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuits, and we're on part 2 of the actual Crowshriek tree for the Crowshriek area. And this is basically what it looks like at this point. And let's get it painted. So immediately on the trunk, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this chocolate bar, which is a reddish brown. And I'm going to get a good paint job on this trunk. So I'm going to make sure I get in here. And the sap, we're going to come back and paint that anyways, so if you get that brown too, it'll be all right. But you want to get this tree painted up pretty good with a fair coat on all the bark, wood parts. There's some wet black paint in there still from where I base coated it, or primed it, but I did prime it in black spray paint, but my spray paint that I bought is wonky. I've gone through 3 cans that have been wonky. I'm tired of fighting with it, and so I just painted over it with black paint. Wetted down a little bit. And then I blew dry it, thinking that would be dry, but apparently underneath here it's not quite dry. And that's okay. And don't worry about if you get on the ground where to come back and paint that too. Need a little more paint. Pouring it like that's never smart, but I did it anyways. Always shake it into the lid, close it and shake it up. But we're in a hurry here, because we don't want this to take all day. When I wake up, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. When I go out, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes up next to you. When I come home, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who's coming home to you. I don't know all the words. It's been years since I heard it. Not years, but it's been a long time. It might have been years. No, it's not been that long. Lady Doom loves that damn song. I used to play on guitar for her years ago. All the time, and I didn't know the words then. I had to look up what haver meant. Where I live in the United States, we don't use the term haver, but apparently it means to vomit. But it can also mean to, like, quickly lie. Like to jibber jab when you're being confronted when you're drunk. So that's cool. It can mean a couple different things. I'm sure there's more meanings than that I don't know about. Because I'm just not the guy. I'm not the dude that knows what Habron means. If any of you know who Geggy Taw is, it's on my playlist, and it doesn't come up that often for some reason, but it's on my Google or YouTube playlist. And it came on today when I was taking the oldest Doom boy to work. He needed a ride, and I was able to do it since I was off. So it came on, and I was like, all I want to do is to thank you, even though I don't know who you are. Like, and it was stuck in my head, and I wish it wouldn't have come back up in my thoughts, because now it's going to be stuck in my head. You let me change lanes while I was driving in my car. So I drive around all day, making atmospheric haze, till I want to get on again. Then all I have to say is all I want to do is to thank you, even though I don't know who you are. Like I said, that's going to get repainted anyway, so we'll just get the brown on there to get it off the brush. All right, we'll dry this off. And yeah, there's a little bit of black showing, and that's okay. It'll be all right. Let's flip our paint thing over here. We're going to need a cleaner surface to work on so I can see what I'm doing. And let's get my... Oh, I don't know if my phone's charged. We might die in the middle of this. No, I got all kind of charge. Okay, cool. I didn't check before I came down. Sweet. Ugh. Got accosted by some noxious shop fumes. They're not that bad. I'm teasing. All right, let's get this brush here, or this here is called chestnut. It's a reddish or orangish brown, and we're gonna get kind of a bigger dry brush. I'm gonna use this one. I'm just gonna get a tiny bit of that on there, and I'm gonna kind of get it all over all the bristles. And I'm gonna make sure I wipe a lot of that off. And then we're going to start lightening this up. All I want to do is to thank you. Even though I don't know who you are. You let me change lanes while I was driving in my car. Okay. Get up under there the best we can, and then we'll hit this with the air gun and we'll give it another coat. We're going to do the same exact thing with the same color, but this time I have a feeling it's going to pop just a little better. Bam! Right in your mouth. I didn't mean to be a dirt ball bad guy there. I'm just being silly. So you want to get a good variation on here. You want to make sure you get up under them branches some. And then I want to do one more thing with this. I want to get a little bit of yellow. Just a little bit. And I want to mix it into my existing brush. And I just want to kind of, in the areas where the moss is going to be on top, I just want to kind of hit that real good. And then a little bit on the sides, but not too. Just a tad. I don't really want to get under the branches either, so that's kind of what we're working with so far. Let's set that brush off to the side. We're done with that one. All right, let's get a dark green and do these leaves. So I have this arbor green. It's very dark. It's very full and vibrant. If I can find a brush I'd like to use. This brush is super soft. This is not the brush I wanted. And you want this to be a little sloppy. You don't want this to be like perfect smooth coat. Just make it a little chompy on there. Since we didn't do anything for texture on the leaves, just kind of chunk it around on there. And we'll deal with it in the next step after we start on the base. We'll let this we'll hit this with air and then let it kind of dry on its own as we're working on the base. And if it's not dry, we'll come back and hit it with some more air. But you're just painting the inside and outside of these leaves. And like I said, be choppy and chunky and bad and just make it gross. So this tree is often found with blood splattered on it. And people think that the tree does it, but it's not the tree killing people. The wild men believe that if you throw blood at this tree, that it'll spare you. They think the tree is murderous. So they will kill people that they eat, and they'll collect their blood. And when they're done eating them, or when they're still eating them, depending, they'll come over to one of these trees that's in the vicinity of where they live, and they'll splash blood on it. So chances are, if you see fresh blood or blood that's been a couple days on one of these, it's because the wild men have just killed somebody or some buddies, and they're trying to appease the tree. But the tree is not intelligent. It just drives people mad. It's really a sonic effect. It's a magic, supernatural sonic effect. It's not even, intentionally doing it. Like I said, when the air blows through the leaves, they come together and clap and make like a whistle as they close, and the wind blows through them. And that's where that comes from. So yeah, it's not anything the tree knows it's doing. If you attack this tree, all these willowy kind of hanging down branches will snap straight up together, and the top of the tree will start to vibrate and make a maddening sound that is twice as difficult to resist as its normal wind blowing through it sound. So if it's a will or charisma save or whatever system you use, wisdom save, whatever system you're using, personality, remember, if you hurt the tree in any way, hit it with a spell, or try to climb it, or do anything that it feels like it's being touched or attacked or eaten or chopped, whatever it may be, something messes with it with any kind of force, like the weight of a human body or something. Maybe a halfling it wouldn't notice, or a small animal, but definitely like a full-size human it would notice, and it would snap everything straight up and start waving it around at the top, creating that whistling sound. But it's twice as difficult to resist. It will drive you mad. And this madness is different than your normal madness. This is the kind of madness that you cannot recognize. You will go against any moral beliefs you have. You will not recognize allies. Friend and foe all look like enemy to you. It's a terrible situation to be in. I'm going to hit this with the hunter again real quick. Then we'll let that kind of dry more on its own. Let's get dark brown. This is burnt umber from Walmart apple barrel paint, Applebee's paint. But I'm going to get a kind of a big bristled brush so that I can get around in here and get this painted up quickly. You don't want to get it on your roots. And you don't have to do a perfect job. A little bit of that base can easily show through and it won't kill you. It's just black. It'll just look like it's black. I'm trying not to leave a bunch of the black, but if I do, I'm not going to cry or fret. I'm not going to make a big stink about it. Because our intent here is to get something in a reasonable amount of time on the table. I think all said and done, especially if you're making several of these at once, it's a low investment, low cost project. You could probably be making 4 of these at a time and get it done in about an hour, 15 hour and 20 minutes, depending on how long you spend on your paint job. Pardon me. I definitely, if I was not making a video, would probably be tearing through this a lot quicker. I also probably wouldn't be stopping to look at it so much too. Also, I wouldn't be blow drying it. I would just like work on it some, and then I would walk away and come back later when it was dry. When I craft like myself, I don't use the hot air gun so much. Because I'm usually not in a hurry unless it's like the day of my game night. And I'm trying to get a new idea done in time to implement it. But like I'm weeks ahead because of the channel. Like since I'm not doing the monster manual anymore, which was taking up a lot of my time. And I do craft every day now, which I didn't do before I started really working on the channel. I do craft every day. I very seldom miss. I got home at 7 o'clock at night and had to be up at 4 a.m. one day, and I did miss, but usually I don't miss. So for the leaves, if you have a little piece of sponge or something, that would be ideal. Or a really bristly hard brush. Let me see what I got. I got this thing. It's kind of flat on the front, but I have glue in it though. Looks like it'll work. Something like that would be perfect for what I'm trying to do. So what I'm doing is I'm getting an olive color here. I'm just going to get a little dab of this. Okay, and what I want to do is I just want to kind of dab along here. There we go. And just get rid of some of the prettiness of that normal green. And speckle it up with that green. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to know what you're doing or have a plan. Just darken that up with, or dull that up a little bit with the olive. Or you could even use a brighter color if you were interested in making it brighter and more vivid. That's not what I want to do. But if that's what you want to do, do that. Because this is mine and that'll be yours. I was telling my oldest son about Milli Vanilli in the car ride today. Yeah, girl, you know it's true. Telling him about all kind of stuff. He was telling me something that I know about, but I just kind of like said, "Oh, cool." He's like, "Did you know Metallica opened for Guns N' Roses?" Like, yeah, I was there, but no, just silly stuff like that. I am like kind of like grew up listening to a lot of metal and punk and stuff, so. I went to school the first time when I was young. I actually went to school for radio broadcasting. I was going to be a DJ. And then while I was in college, Don Imus and Howard Stern syndicated their shows and were selling them to radio stations all over the country where they were able to play them on a format as if they were on their station. And it put a lot of people out of work really quickly. So I ran to another industry quickly, which was the Army. I had wanted to be a soldier my whole life. I thought I could do some good there. Turns out I couldn't, because they wouldn't make me into a super soldier and give me some kind of serum like I needed to be what I wanted to be. So I obviously, at 5'9" and 140 pounds, had to get a waiver to get in because I was too skinny. And I took many years to bulk up to get big and strong, but they never gave me super soldier serum. They really missed out on an opportunity there for me to be all that I could be. They didn't take it. Okay, we're about ready. We're going to get a medium brown. And it's something that we can do some dry brushing with. We want a makeup brush from the Dollar Tree for this probably. And we want to get a lot of that off so it's manageable. And we want to brush around on that base and create some variation. But we want to make sure we don't hit our roots. Okay, something like that. And then I got a little bit of gray right there. And I'm just going to grab that and spush that around. I'm going to dab that gray into that brown. Then I'm just going to wipe that off everywhere else until it's off my brush. And then we're going to take this brush that we did that with. We're going to mix it in with this green and create a repulsive kind of color. And we're going to rub the tops of these branches and try to pick up some of that green texture, or some of that baking soda texture. Like that. Where that moss on top of the things is growing. Okay. Now we're starting to get where we want to be. I'm going to get a little bit of light gray and mix it in with this brush and do that rock real quick. And to make sure I don't go overboard with that, I'm going to hit that rock with a little bit of, oh shit, that's not mixed up at all. That wasn't what I wanted. Wrong one. We'll just take it like this. Okay, now let's get a brush that we can do our goo in. Remember our sap that we have all over that tree? Let's get that now. So to do the sap, we're going to get a dark orange. I'm using this ripe tomato, and I'm hoping it covers nice. I don't know if it will, but we're going to try it out. It's a little bit thin, so I'm worried it won't. But we can try it. It looks like it's going to be good enough for what we want. Okay. I know there's a lot going on with this tree, and I understand it's probably a little bit much for one project, especially for a quick project. But if we take our time, or if we rush, either way, it's going to do something. This is why it was important that we make it look glumpy, like it had a plastic jelly hat on, because we want it to be noticeable that this stuff's oozing out of it later on when we came back to this portion. And I think it's noticeable, so. And we want to run down the tree some right here. You just grab those long things of super glue we put on there. That can't be one because it kind of comes down onto a root and it'll be too conspicuous. Okay. Once you're happy with that, put that orange away. We'll air dry it. +5 hot air gun burning. Because I know you like it when I use magic items. Let's take a look at this thing so far. What do y'all think? Pretty gross. All right. I don't think I'm going to do any more on that stuff, but I am going to get some clear glue. Man, I got to dump some of the big clear glue into this thing sooner than later. Okay, we need a good bit of glue for this part. I'm going to get a brush. And I'm going to be putting some 2 different types of luck on this instead of 1, because in this plains area, I need it to be a little more vivid and bright than the jungle and or than the swamp was. I need it to be a little more plainsy. Now, you don't have to do it that way. You could try to make your terrain as interchangeable as possible. You could easily put this in the swamp. It would work well with the witch. I just didn't do that. I wanted to have a special thing for this Crowshriek. But the Crowshriek trees could grow outside of the area of the Crowshriek. And you could call it whatever you want. You could call it the kukri tree or anything you really wanted to. There's no rules as far as that stuff goes. So I'm going to get this light green foliage that I have here. Or no, I have a dark green, or a dull green flock here. And I just made this out of sawdust and rubbing alcohol and paint. And it was just one of those kind of, you make it overnight deals, and you grind it up the next day in a mortar and pestle to break it all apart for any of the parts that you didn't get cleaned up right. Or whatever you didn't do right. Okay. And that's going to look pretty decent, I think. And I'm going to get a little more of that glue. And I'm going to come on the parts that I painted on the top of the green. It just didn't pop the way I wanted it to. It didn't hit the way I wanted it to. So I'm going to come up here and dab that along here. And I'm just going to sprinkle some of that really bright green flock I use a lot. That woodland scenic stuff that is old as dirt. And then I'm going to just sprinkle that along the top here and hope it captures what I was trying to capture with the paint job that I didn't get. I try to use paint jobs to nail stuff because the paint cost, fractions of a penny to use, and flock eventually runs out and you have to make it or buy it. So paint's so much more accessible. Now, if you get a little bit down on the ground there too, I don't think it'd really hurt too much. I think it'll just create a little variation, a little bit of interest, if you will. Hell, I might even just... Where's that part I had running up the tree I wanted to use? I don't know what happened to it. Was that it? Maybe that was it. Let's try it. Let's see if we can make it work. Nope, I don't think that was the spot. I can't remember now. My memory is like a idiot's memory. All right, cool. There it is. We could do something like this, though. We can get a little bit of this here. Push it up against there. Put a little bit on that rock, maybe. Push a little bit up against there. And then maybe back in this corner. Put a little glue there. All I want to do is to thank you, even though I don't know who you are. Now, there's all kind of goodies right here, right? So I'm just going to kind of steal a little bit of that into this container and keep it. It'll just be part of that flock now, instead of wasting it. So thanks for watching. I hope you had a good time. I know I did. Please, you know what? Hold on. Let me think for a moment, huh? Let me get some of that yellow and some of that dark, nasty paint water there. Let me just... Yeah, something like that. And I think that if you were to do like a little bit of a glossy Mod Podge on this when it's dry, that'd be good. Something like that, just to break it up a little bit. It was a little too stale. Okay. Much better. All right. That's the Crowshriek. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon. Leave a comment and do the YouTube algorithm shimmy. Come back to the website and buy some minis if you can. If you can't, no judgment. We have all been there, I promise you. No one is always rich, especially not me. So anyways, I'm still not rich. But come to the Discord, hang out with us, paint, play RPGs, play video games. We're playing that Quinfall right now. I wouldn't recommend anybody spending money on it, but it's the best $20 I've spent on a video game in quite a long time. And yeah, we'll see you next time.